Hey guys, welcome back for another Jedi Journal entry. Today we will look at the role of Stoicism in Star Wars and how it affects not only the Jedi, but the larger themes within Star Wars itself. Stoicism is a Greek philosophy centered around acting without rampant emotion while living a harmonious life of virtue. Stoicism is a strong strategy for conflict resolution and facing adversity even today in our modern times. This balanced lifestyle of acceptance and harmony is the most visible with the Jedi, but its principles also give us an insight into the Sith, and its ties into the lessons the 6 movies give us, the audience. When we first see Darth Vader walk through the Hall of the Tantive, we see him as a powerful figure who commands the utmost authority. He is ruthless, effective, and answers to no one. As the series goes on, we learn that he too serves another, the Emperor. This is distinctly different from how we meet Yoda. Yoda's first appearance is deceiving. Yoda appears in Empire as a bumbling fool, rather like a goofy vagrant, and in no way an imposing figure like the great warrior Luke is searching for. Luke may not be able to see past appearances to Yoda's virtues as a person, but in time it is revealed to him through Yoda's wisdom that he truly is the master he seeks. Right off the bat, this hermit teaches Luke patience when Luke asks to be taken to Yoda right away, but Yoda shows him that when one is supposed to act is just as important as how or what one is acting. Luke needs to integrate this wisdom because we see him throughout Empire acting impulsively and without any reservation or patience. Yoda mocks Luke's desire for adventure and excitement, for Yoda is not one to be distracted by such things, nor does he worry about that which he cannot control. This is a fundamental characteristic of Stoicism, the practice of letting go of that which is not in your power to control. We should instead keep our minds on where we are, what we are doing. Yoda stays in the present moment and focuses intently on whatever he is doing, whether it's eating, pranking Luke, or meditating. Yoda sees much anger in both Anakin and Luke, while at the same time never being angry himself. He says that fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. This hate and aggression leads to the suffering of both the victim and the aggressor themselves. Yoda does not suffer because he does not allow these feelings to control him. Yoda might lack aggression, but he is not above defending himself or others. He will draw his sword to end conflict before he sheathes it again, but he does so without the vice of aggression. One thing that the Stoics believed in was living in harmony with the natural universe. This is something the Jedi themselves do, as they are agents of balance within the Force. These Jedi have made it their mandate to facilitate this harmony, this balance, and this symbiosis in the universe. Stoics believed that living a life of virtue was necessary for a happy life, and that vice would lead one toward misery, and also that virtue was a kind of perfected reason applied to different modes of conduct. Reason would therefore lead one to focus on what is under one's own control rather than worrying about things outside of it. Focusing on what is under your own power would keep one calm and collected and focused on more important issues. Passion, or pathos, was determined by the Greeks to be unhealthy, very similar to the word pathology. By being free from one's passion, one would be able to apply reason to its fullest potential and live a virtuous life. But this does not mean one is devoid of emotion. It does mean that the emotions we feel do not take control of our reason or ourselves. One remains calm and collected, like Yoda, and through doing so is able to tell the difference between the good side and the bad. And this can be as simple as realizing that virtue is good, vice is bad, and everything else is just noise that does not need to be focused on. Yoda said that life creates the Force and makes it grow, and that its energy surrounds and binds us all. This concept is similar to what the Stoics would call the pneuma. This pneuma was the animating force for all living things in the universe. It was also said to be present in lifeless materials like stone or metal as the energy that holds an object together, the internal tension that makes a stone a stone. This sounds an awful lot like the Force, doesn't it? Stoics regarded the ideal Stoic, or sage, as a person who made the right decisions all of the time. Our Jedi friends might not be infallible like this Stoic ideal, but they do feel the Force guiding them through their journeys. Qui-Gon tells Anakin, "Feel, don't think. Use your instincts, and to trust your feelings." This idea of being in tune with the reason and flow of the universe might be akin to the Stoic ideal of a sage acting on pure, unhindered reason and making the right decisions the right way at the right times to accomplish the right goal. Looking at the dark side, we get a strong picture of Stoicism in the Emperor himself. Like Yoda, the Emperor wears simple robes and does not appear to busy himself with luxuries, but rather resembles a monk. He even possesses some of the virtues that Yoda tries to drill into Luke, virtues such as having a serious mind and the deepest commitment, albeit to the dark side. He even urges Vader towards patience in his quest for Luke. But how is the Emperor different from Yoda? The Emperor sees compassion as a weakness and a vice rather than a virtue, and he congratulates Luke when he uses his aggressive feelings against his father in combat. The logic of the dark side seems to be steeped in control over others. Anger would lead to hatred. Hatred would lead to aggression aimed at controlling others. Control of others would be the essence of true power, and this true power is irresistibly desirable. The Emperor himself seeks to dominate and control by being a figure of terror and cruelty. Stoics do not seek to exploit others in this way, but rather seek to be self-sufficient and become disciplined by bettering themselves. Achieving mastery means not giving in to your vices, but rather bringing them to heel so that they are not the things in control. When Luke tells his father to let go of his hate, he is telling him to reject his vices and accept Stoic wisdom and virtue. But like virtue, vice has a way of controlling us, and Vader says, "It is too late for me, son," a way of showing that he has let his vice be in control for too long, and that he cannot regain that control. He has done so much evil and inflicted so much pain that he doesn't think it's possible to be anything else. But Luke continues to try to tell him that the time for rationalization is over, and it is time to do the right thing. But serving the dark side does not mean one cannot be rational. The Emperor is highly rational with his cruelty. He is cold and calculating, not haphazard with his aggression. His arrogant rationality seeks to dominate, exploit, and enslave people through the use of force, pun intended. The Emperor's goal is to master things and people rather than to master himself by becoming virtuous. Without being able to distinguish virtue from vice, he lacks wisdom, and without wisdom, he lacks all virtue. Jedi use discipline, commitment, and training to control themselves and become servants of the Force. Darksiders will use their anger and hatred to gain power through the dark side. They feed instead of overcome their vices and become steeped in this spiraling descent. One should not seek to be slave to their vices and darker emotions, nor should they seek to repress them entirely, but they should rise above them and pursue a meaningful life of virtue. Take on the wisdom of the Jedi and Stoicism in your own life, and learn to accept what you cannot control, to focus on pursuing what is right and mastering yourself both in mind and in body. You may not be able to lift rocks with your mind, but you will distinguish yourself among others. Well, this concludes my thoughts on Stoicism and Star Wars. If you enjoyed what I had to say, click the like button down below, subscribe for more of my content, which should be coming soon. If you want to receive notifications of when that will be, hit the little bell icon down below as well so you won't miss the next one. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you all next time. May the Force be with you.